Welcome to Malcom Reed's How to Barbecue Right, a podcast where we talk about barbecue, share recipes, and discuss all things delicious. And now, here's your host, Malcom and Rachelle Reed.
Hey, welcome back to the How to Barbecue Right podcast. I'm your host, Malcom Reed, joined by my lovely and talented wife, Miss Southern Shell. Shell, another week in the books. You ready to go?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We've been back in the swing of things this week.
Heck yeah, we're right back into the videos. And I told y'all I was going to break some of that red snapper video. And I tell you what, of course, we cook fish pretty regularly. We try to eat fish once a week, but it can be a challenge to grill. And I've grilled snapper. Fish. Yeah, I am picky about fish, and I really like a white meat fish or white flesh fish, like the snapper. But it can.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, it's really not complicated. The problem with grilling it is you got to have a hot grill, and you got to, don't do too much to it. It's going to fall apart on you. And I think that's where people struggle. Well, the recipe I did, leaving it on the half shell, skin on, is so easy. You don't even have to flip it. You got your temps up on your grill, and then pairing it.
You're jumping straight into it.
Yeah. You want me to pump the brakes.
Well, so this week you grilled red snapper.
Yep, I did.
Okay. And that was your recipe.
That was it.
You served it with you grilled it. You
grilled
served
it with the Vortex on the Weber.
You served it over grilled asparagus. Lump crab, and a Creole cream sauce.
The crab meat and the butter with a little bit of that king gras on it. Oh man, that was so good. I don't know. So you could have took, I think, the asparagus in the sauce, the lump crab in the sauce, just the fish and the salt, whatever. Yeah. There were so many good components to that.
All those elements worked really well with each other.
Yeah. And some people don't like asparagus. Man, you could put that over rice. You could do whatever kind of vegetables you wanted. Yeah. It would be good with it. I personally like asparagus.
Yeah.
Some people say it makes your pee stink. I don't smell my pee. What are you doing smelling your pee? Is it that strong?
Yes.
I don't believe it.
You don't have to get down in the bowl. It's just, smells.
I don't know.
I read because you said you don't smell. I actually I Googled it, and they don't know whether about half the population smells it and the other half doesn't. And they're
sensitive to it. I think I've had enough smoke inhalation where.
Well, that's the point. They don't know whether it's asparagus didn't affect their pee or they just can't smell it.
Well, I like it, and the asparagus. I fired up my Memphis wood fire pellet grill to cook it. 425 olive oil, just a pinch of sea salt or kosher salt. Put it on there.
What time? 8 minutes?
8 minutes.
Yeah.
It was nothing, but you could have done that. We do it all the time in the oven. Like we use like cookie sheet, put some foil over it to keep from having to wash the sheet. Cut the stems off your asparagus, the little woody part. It's about the first inch and a half or so. Take all those off, rinse it, toss it in some olive oil, hit it with some salt.
I use AP a lot sometimes.
Yeah, and normally I would have said, okay, I'm gonna hit this asparagus with AP. But there were so many flavors going on with the fish, with the sauce that you didn't need I didn't really want that garlic and that pepper, all that in the asparagus.
Yeah.
I wanted asparagus just to be a little on the crisp side, where it still had some crunch to it. And then I also wanted it, to have a kind of a neutral, just you taste the freshness of the asparagus.
Yeah.
Wasn't covering it up with any seasoning because I'm letting the fish and all that do its own thing. So
it gets a better flavor. You can do it in the oven, but the grill.
Oh yeah,
gives
it does. It does
another level.
You pick up that grill flavor on it,
and it's so easy.
And then the fish, so it doesn't get any easier.
Where'd you get this idea?
I've been cooking snap. Man, I've been going. I guess the first time I went deep sea fishing was probably 20 years ago. It's been a while, and we were catching snapper back then, and that's how I learned to cook it. And I've always done it skin on. If I buy it from the store, a lot of time it's skin off. If you're buying store-bought snapper, sometimes they'll have skin on it. Yeah, that Kroger has it. I don't know if it's exactly, it doesn't look like red snapper, so it might be mangrove or just another. There's so many species of snapper. Yeah. So some people wanted to know, what's a white meat fish or white flesh fish? And there's all kinds. I mean, it could be sea bass. It could be grouper. It could be mahi-mahi. It could be
cobia.
Lemon fit cobia. Man, that's my favorite eating one is cobia. And then, it could be cod. It could be catfish. There's any kind of, what it means white fish is when you cook it, the meat turns opaque white. And so you think of like orange rough fish. There's a ton of them.
Yeah.
Is there anything that's kind of not in the salmon family-ish, that the word, or tuna family, I guess? That would be, I would call that. It turns kind of, not white, but it's got a red meat look to it. It looks more like red meat raw. And this is kind of whitish. I mean.
Well, when you buy it in the store, if you were going to go buy it in the store and found snapper.
Tilapia is even considered.
Well, is it going to have the skin on most of the time, or is it going to be skin off?
I've seen it both ways, but if you buy it skin off, you can do the same thing I did. I did a video on this. I don't know, was it with snapper I did it? You remember? It's been a while, but I took like lemons and limes and made a bed and then put the fish on that. And so that acts as the skin. You could do it with aluminum foil. So if you made your little full boat and you put your fillets on that, it would work the same way.
You used lemons and limes on a fillet of catfish, but you use like a nest.
For snapper or something like that.
Herbs for snapper.
Yeah, and it would work the same way. Both those recipes are really good too. They're really similar to the way I did it because all I did, Cajun seasoning, olive oil Cajun seasoning. That was it. Heat on the fish. I've done this on the pellet grill. I run the pellet grill at like 350. Put the fish in there. Now it takes a little bit longer. It's about a 25, 30-minute cook.
Really?
When I've done it on the pellet grill. Exact same seasoning. If you want to lay lemon over it, squeeze lemon over it, go for it. You can make that.
That's how you cooked it for the tacos the other night.
Yeah. We just did, when we first got back, I thawed out some and we did fish tacos with it. Same way. And when you get ready to serve it, you can take a spatula and it lets go of that skin so easy. Now, used to when I was learning to cook it, we'd cook it just straight over a fire. Or on a propane grill. And sometimes if it's stuck, the skin would stay on the grill, but you could take your spatula and go right up under the meat and just lift it right off.
So you're still getting the perfect little fillet.
Then you got to scrape the skin off the grill. But if you oil that skin and you cook it a little bit indirect, but still with kind of high heat, just indirect high heat, the skin doesn't even stick. Like you notice that the ones I did didn't stick at all.
You had one that
it was trying to break, but it's because I think it was just getting a little too much heat. Maybe one of the thinner ones. And actually, it was a bigger fillet. It got a little more done, but none of it was overdone. I mean, it was so juicy. Had a ton of flavor. It was really, really good.
So, that was
one of those. It's like, man, this is a fancy ass dish. I knew, putting the lump crab on it. A lot of people probably wouldn't do that, but I just went to Kroger.
And you could omit that, no problem.
You could substitute out shrimp, crawfish tails, scallop,
or just not have it.
Not even have it. Just have the fish with the sauce. Yeah. But I bought that lump crab at Kroger. It was private selection, wild caught lump crab meat.
And it was big pieces of crab.
Yeah, it was.
Sometimes you'll get it and it's just
I ate some of it cold just to taste it. I was like, is this going to be fishy? Because, I don't do fishy. And so I ate that crab. And I was like, man, I could just sit there and eat this for lunch.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like $18 for 8 ounces. But you're not putting, just maybe serving wise, I'd probably serve 6.
Yeah, easily.
Because we had a lot of crab left over. I mean, you're only putting an ounce or 2 on top. It's kind of a garnish, gives you a little bit extra meat, a little different texture, but it's really good. And just warming that lump crab up in that butter. Oh man.
But you hit it with the touch of your seasoning.
Yeah. I thought it needed some color. I mean, crab doesn't really have a flavor itself. It's just kind of, I don't know, buttery because I always dip it in butter.
Could you toss it in the sauce, at the end?
Yeah, no, I thought about that, but I was
the presentation's much better.
Yeah, you could. You could mix it in it. And I thought about that. You could take that Cajun cream sauce. If I was going to do that, I probably wouldn't use lump crab. I would probably use crawfish tails or shrimp or smaller size shrimp. And then it would be like a Creole shrimp sauce or, Cajun crawfish cream sauce. It'd be along those lines. And I've seen that, I've seen people take that same, not the same recipe, but take the cream, take some crawfish tails and butter, cook that down, put some cream cheese in there and turn it into a crawfish dip.
Yeah.
Man, it's good.
So how did you catch this fish?
hung a pole over the side of the boat and held on.
Was this Florida fish or
those were Florida fish. We were I think we were 22 miles out when we caught those, and we were fishing with, I guess, cigar minnows. I think we caught those on, and yeah, it was. Hang on.
Can you really only catch them in June and July?
That's the only season, yeah. Well, that's the season that I know down the coast. I mean, I think that's the federally regulated season too. It depends on like when we went out on a charter boat, depends on the license on the boat. Because if they got the federal license, I think they get a longer run. But like each state has a different day season, and it changes from year to year depending on what the quota of the species is. So red snapper, they could say next year, hey, we're only giving you 2 weeks, or 1 week. It just depends. This year was a really good season.
Do we plan our trip around that, or
no? We wanted to go deep sea fishing. Yeah. Dustin wanted to go, and then I got lucky enough to go back and go out of Orange Beach, Alabama. So I did like back-to-back weeks of fishing, and we caught.
But red snapper was the thing that you caught the most of. Yeah.
Yeah, we went out with the first trip. Just shout out to our boats. It was Kelly Girl Charters out of Panama City, and then the next time we went out with the Wild Orange Charters out of what was the name?
Orange Beach.
Orange Beach, yeah. Zeke's Marina, I think's where that one was. The other one was actually the Floribama Marina. It was right there. So they're both good boats, great captains. We had a blast. If y'all need to go on a fishing trip, go down there and check those guys out. They will flat put you on them. I want to go back and do a tuna trip with them.
But isn't that like an overnight? Yeah.
It can be, but you can, it depends on how fast the boat is and get you out there to tuna waters. We ran out, I guess, about 2 hours out, fished for 4 or 5 hours, and then, had to come back. But you kind of fish your way back and then cruise on in. So
we cooked this on Tuesday.
Yes.
And we did a practice run on Monday.
Right, just because I wanted to get it down. Yeah. We wanted to get it down. Actually, I just wanted to get the sauce down. Yeah. Make sure I could make it and not break it. It didn't look like jacked up. So.
And how everything turned out.
Yeah, and make sure it tasted good. I don't want to put something out there that, you got to test. You got to test your recipes. You can't just run and gun.
Sometimes I run it.
It depends. Depends if I've done it before, or like I've cooked snapper, but I've never, put it
all
with
those
the
elements
sauce.
together.
And the crab meat was just. I knew that had to be good.
Did doing the test run help?
I already knew it was. I guess. I actually think. I didn't change anything, but I think the video version tasted, and I don't know why. If it's just because the sauce, I got the times down on reducing the stuff in the sauce. Because when I started making it, it was like, okay, I'm gonna brown my, I'm gonna fry my garlic and parsley a little bit. Then I'm gonna put this white wine in there, and I'm going to reduce it by half, which I didn't know how long it took. I just started a timer. Okay, it was 3 to 4 minutes.
Yeah.
It looks right to me. I think I concentrated the flavors better on the video than that. And then I put the cream in, and I was adjusting the heat on the creams. I was afraid it would separate, kind of curdle on me or whatever.
Yeah.
And I knew that if I kept it on like 1 or in between 1 and 2 on my stove, that it would draw it down, evaporate all the water out, condense those flavors, and then putting the lemon zest and lemon in at the end brightened it up. And the grated parm was just something I thought it would just give it a little bit of a more rich flavors all. It didn't really change the texture a whole lot. And it looks a little bit looser as you're heating it than it actually gets by the time you pour it up, and it thickens up perfect. Yeah, it's not really, it's still warm. You want to hold it warm, but you don't want to keep it on the heat because, I think you don't want to break it. You don't want to break the sauce because it does have the butter in it, and it's got the cream, and you got to get the water out of it. That's what's really going to make it look like it's separate. If it does, just whip it back up, though. Wouldn't be nothing to it. That's a simple cream sauce.
And you actually made the sauce. So both the practice run and the video, you got the charcoal going.
Yes, and then started.
And then did the sauce and kind of held the sauce while you cooked the fish.
I usually always
so you could focus on.
I always put the seasoning on the fish first. That way it has time to sit and kind of absorb in a little bit to the meat. And then I start the fire. Then I made the sauce because I knew those coals took about 15 minutes. That gave me plenty of time to make that sauce. And then when I was ready to go, everything was outside. So I had the asparagus out there. I had the fish ready. I don't want to leave them. I do check them halfway. I did, the night before, I checked the fish a lot more, just kind of getting my time down. And this time I just held it to about the 6 minute mark. I set a timer, 12 minutes. 6 minutes. We looked at it. You took a few pictures and then let it go 6 more minutes. Got the asparagus off, warmed that crab up, grabbed the fish off the grill and threw it all together. I mean, that was one thing I knew coming back. It's still hot here. It's still really hot.
It's very hot this week.
I mean, it was 93. Heat index was right at 100 the day we filmed. So I'm sweating balls. There's flies buzzing.
People made comments about the flies.
Oh, there's one on my hand.
What are we gonna do?
I can't do nothing. It's Mississippi, and the fly's gonna be there. It's part of it.
Somebody said something like, "Are you really gonna eat that fish after a fly landed on it?"
A fly scare you something wrong.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna eat it. I've just been sitting there for hours. That joker better beat me to it. But
I want that delicious fish away.
Yeah, like I'm gonna throw it away because a fly touched it. Man, what?
Wrong channel, man.
Yeah. That's for real. I mean, I'm outside. What do you expect?
They're hot. We have our.
I got my fly gun, a bug of salt. Man, I bet I killed 20 that day.
I think you left it outside, and I'm worried it got rained on.
Oh man,
your bug of salt.
I need an automatic version. Make one CO2 charge where you just getting them.
We could use it.
Yeah.
An outdoor version and an indoor version.
That's right. Yeah, they need like a pistol version for the inside. And you got the long range one for the outside. But I knew coming back that I wanted to do a video that was kind of quick.
Yeah.
And when I timed out all the components and grill times, 12 minutes, that's nothing. We were in and out. I mean, so it worked out good. That's what I wanted to talk about today.
Well, hold on.
I'm going to start it. I was just going to mention it. But
okay. Go ahead.
You put the brake, man. You got the brakes out today, don't you? Dang, slowing this train down.
Well, I have other questions I got to talk to you about.
But we're going to talk later on in the podcast.
Yes.
We're going to talk about kind of our, I guess, video strategy.
Yeah.
What we do. And so I thought that'd be a good podcast.
Videos,
I thought it'd be fun to talk about. This could probably be multiple podcasts.
Yeah, it really could.
But anyway, what's some more questions you got today?
Okay. So how'd you come up with the idea of using the Vortex for fish, and how well did that work out?
Man, it worked out great.
It did.
And I knew, you could do it on anything. I just thought it would be cool. And I've been using the Vortex. The only thing I've really used Vortex for was chicken. But I knew it was going to be a fast cook. And I was like, well, I need some good heat to kind of, get this fish cooked fast. And I was like, all right, let's do the Vortex on the Weber. I probably should have did it on the egg. I've never used the Vortex on any other grill but the Weber.
Yeah.
I bought the large one for the egg, and I've never even used it on it. So I need to do that. I need to experiment, see if you can use one on a PK. That'd be interesting to know some kind of way. It'd need to be a small one though.
You've got the smallest.
I know. I need somebody to fabricate
there's a
me
medium. An even smaller
one.
one.
One that'll fit in between the two little,
the
little vents, a mini Vortex.
Yeah.
Because it don't take much. I'm telling you, I burnt, that's a good, Instagram post or something too, or a little quick video. What was those coals like at the end after I cooked 12 minutes on them? How long are they going to burn in that Vortex?
Yeah.
I'd like to know. So in the small Vortex, heck, they don't even look like they burnt much. I mean, the wood smoldered and gave me some smoke, but, they're still, I bet you could have got another, I'd say probably an hour and a half, 2 hours out of it. I'd like to find out. I've never checked, because when I cook wings, they don't cook very long, 35 minutes. I need to see when it actually burn out, how long you can get.
You can get a burn.
Because it's not like you're going to leave something on there that long.
No.
But you could cook multiple batches of stuff and see when you'd have to reload it, refire it, or
I kind of assumed
add
because
to it.
You're concentrating those charcoals that they burn fast, and it's burning so hot that they burn faster. Yeah. But you think they're burning longer?
I don't think they're burning longer. I think they hold that heat for a while and the way it draws up. So, I guess they're probably burning about as long as a chimney full of charcoal would. And that's usually, 45 minutes to an hour. Maybe. I don't know if you can get 2 hours. That's a good experiment though. That's another one of those. Jot that down for me.
Okay.
I'd like to know. They ought to sell racks too that you could reload where it's the center's cut out. Have you ever seen one of those, a Weber rack with a center cut out? I need to see.
There are. I have seen them. I've seen people use them on Instagram and stuff.
I need one of those.
If you don't have a Vortex, yeah.
You gonna write that down? You got 7 ink pens around you. Gifts for Malcolm. Just go ahead and put that. 1, new truck. Shotgun.
Somebody does have a birthday coming up
next week. Going to be, what, 34 years old?
34. Look at you.
Man,
you look
I'm
old
an old 34. I'm an old 34.
Well, you have a wife that's still in her 30s.
That's right. A lovely one.
So if you didn't have a Vortex, what could you use?
I would just run set of 2s on fire, hot side, have a cool side. You might have to move the fish around a little more, but it's going to work. It'll work the same. You just want to run it. I mean,
I don't even know if you'd have to run if you had plenty of
you
space.
You could do this one just a regular grill too. I've grilled snapper like that. It worked. It's going to change. The only thing that's going to be different is your times. It's going to change your times up.
What is it going to increase?
Cook the fish. The most important thing you can do when you're cooking snapper or any other kind of fish like that is don't overcook it and cook it to where you'll see the juice coming out of the top and the fish. You can take a fork or a spatula and it's starting to flake and get it off.
Yeah.
And that's all. I mean, that's all there is to it. I don't care if you cooked it on full, if you wrapped it up in full, whatever. Just cook it until it's trying to flake and, adjust your times accordingly. Is it going to take a little practice? Probably, but you always got plenty of fish usually, Just to do one piece separate and see what it does. But it's a quick cook. The whole thing is it's a quick cook.
Well, everybody was wanting to know when the king crawl was going to hit the market.
I don't know.
A couple weeks. We're in the last stages.
I've got it tastes. It tastes just like I want it to.
Yeah. We're kind of waiting on labels.
I've got everything. So I've got king crawl coming. I've got jam and jerk coming because I use a lot of jerk rubs. And then I've got Grande Gringo. That's my favorite one. It's a Mexican rub. Grande, you got to bring the Gringo to the party. The Grande Gringo livens up everything, right? He does.
He does. I'll give you that.
Man, you give me a bottle of tequila and some maracas, I'm the life of the party.
Until 3 a.m. when he starts saying, "Shell,
pat on me.
I think I'm dying."
That comes from getting old.
So now we're ready.
Oh, so now you're ready. That's all you got? Well, before we jump into that, we're heading out after we get through recording this podcast. We're loading the truck.
Well, I was going to talk about that at the end.
We're going to Arkansas. Okay,
yeah.
We can talk about that at the end.
But this week we did start back to school.
Yeah, and that's always a good thing.
Yeah,
because it gives us back on our schedule.
We got a 4th grader now.
Yep, he knows everything too. If you ask him. Been grounded from Fortnite all week though, Jack. No video games. What did he do? He just would listen to you or something?
No, he was telling me a lie.
Oh, ooh, heck yeah! What did he lie about? Tearing some ties or something.
He had some buddies over and they tore something up and he tried to lie to me about what happened, and it made me mad because he's been doing a little fibbing lately.
Change that.
Testing the boundaries.
Put the brakes on that quick. Mm-hmm. All right, so we're going to talk about our video strategy.
Okay.
And I guess the first thing, I just kind of made some notes, and we're going to talk about this.
How did we first get started? Well, we stumbled backwards into YouTube.
So why did we start? My first thing I wrote down was, why did we start making videos? Yeah. Not necessarily YouTube videos, but videos. Why did we do it? I'd already had a newsletter going. So I was doing,
website.
Was it recipe? It really wasn't recipes then. It was more like tips, stuff on competition barbecue.
Yes. It was horrible.
Had the website going and we ran that newsletter for a long time.
Yeah.
And, we got the opportunity to do, a company we were working for wanted us to do some videos for them. I mean, just for footage, not necessarily cooking videos or anything like that.
I don't know what they were going to use it for.
They never did.
That's not how I remember it started. That's how you remember it.
So how do you remember it starting?
I was in internet marketing and would go to those internet marketing conferences for my job. And they always said, video's the next big thing. And we were trying to get, this How to Barbecue Right thing going.
Yeah.
We had a website and we had a couple recipes on it and a newsletter that was terrible. And I was like, we got to start doing video. And you bought me one of those flip cams for Christmas.
Yeah.
You know what? I
do.
Yeah.
And we were capturing stuff at our barbecue events.
Yes.
Or that we were at.
Yes.
And they were raw. It was bad. And so that was what started us trying to do videos.
Yeah.
And the first ones we did, I mean, they were like instructional taught how to trim brisket parts 1 through 8.
Yeah,
How to
45
trim,
minutes long.
how to-
Real time.
Yeah, real time videos.
Because we didn't know how to edit.
How to trim chicken, stuff like that. And so all those videos just kind of developed as we went along because neither one of us knew anything about shooting video, editing videos, anything like that. Mm-hmm. So if you're out there and you think you want to get started, heck yeah, you can do it. If we can do it, anybody can do it.
And now it's a big thing to be a YouTuber, but at the time, I don't remember there being a big
I don't remember even subscribing or doing any of that stuff.
I don't know. It was just a platform where you could upload videos.
And YouTube hadn't been going very long, maybe a couple of years when we got in. There wasn't that many people watching it. It wasn't.
We just used it as a place to host the videos because we couldn't put it on our website.
See, things have changed so much since then. It's file sharing, compression, all that stuff with transferring videos, uploading videos, internet speeds. All that's changed. So just in this past 10 years, I think this is this our 9th or 10th year? That's what I was going to
ask you. When did we put our first video up? I'm going to have to pull it up and look real quick.
I want to say it was in 09. It was either 09 or 10.
It would be 10
2010.
I'm pulling
it's close. I remember looking sometime last year when our 10-year anniversary was, and we're getting close to it. If we hadn't,
it was June 3rd, 2010.
So we still got another.
How to trim a brisket part 1.
Yeah. Is that part 1? So it hadn't been 10 years. The next summer will be 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So it seems like it's been a lot longer than that. And that's how much people watching videos and people uploading and all that has changed just in 10 years. And,
I wonder what the total number of videos we have. Do you know that?
Last time I looked, this 276 or something.
Do you remember how we started doing?
I don't remember.
Do you remember how we started doing recipe videos when that happened? I don't remember how we were like, let's try to do a recipe video.
I don't either. I mean, I think it was just for so my whole thing was, and that's what I was going to talk about next. How do we come up with the ideas for our videos? Well, when we first
that's on him usually.
And I'm usually most of the time. Now you do have some, things that
you bounce stuff off of me, but usually the ideas of the food we cook and things like that, you're the head of that department,
head creator of that. But anyway, so I started out doing competition stuff, and there's only so many of those you can do before you run out of ideas. And so what I started doing, I've always been a fan. Like grew up watching, Food Channel cooking shows. I remember watching Justin Wilson when I was at my dad, just thought it was hilarious. And we watched those as a kid. My grandmother cooked, my mom cooked. We come from a cooking family. I always had cookbooks. So I was always, around good food. You can look at me until I starve to death. but I enjoy learning recipes, watching people cook, and trying to take what I'm seeing and make stuff my own.
Yes.
So I have pretty good cookbook collection going, and we're always in them. And that's really where I get a lot of my inspiration from.
And we're always cooking.
I get it from watching cooking shows, from my mom and my family. I get them from cookbooks. I get them from magazines. Wherever I can, I keep a running little notepad in my phone. And that's when I get ideas, I'll flip that open and crawfish cream sauce. That sounds good. Put that in there. And it may not be the recipe that I've worked out. It's just a thought.
Yeah.
And so you keep those thoughts going. You end up with this whole list of stuff that you can go back and pull from. So the week that we get ready to do a video, we're not, well, what are we cooking this week? It's not like that. It's like, okay, I've already got a list I can go to. And that was one thing.
And we do try to sit down probably once a month and kind of have an idea of what we're going to do the next few weeks. Loosely.
That's my whole plan is to have
but you change
6 weeks. That's a great thing.
It like the day before we film, no, we're not doing that. We're doing this.
Well, that's the great thing about it. You can plug, if there's something that comes up that I say, oh, well, I was, been looking at social media, Instagram, and burgers have been hot. I got an idea for a burger. Let's do this one this week. Yeah. And you're better at watching trends and stuff like that too.
Yeah, but you don't really follow too many trends. You're just more of what you want to do that day.
Yeah, I like setting trends. I like doing that part. But I try to do different stuff. I try to mix it up. I always want to have a mix of, beef videos, pork videos,
Yeah.
chicken videos. Try not to do too many back to back of the same thing. A mix of all of it. And before you know it, like if you just sit down, I could probably give you a year's worth, to do right now. And it's like, okay, for somebody, have you done this, this? Dude, and I've been helping Mark out with that. He's been doing stuff and getting ideas. And I was like, man, Mark, have you done this? Have you done this? He's like, no, I ain't thought of it,
And I've heard a lot of people say, I want to do it, but I don't have any good ideas. Well, get inspiration.
Yeah. Open up a cookbook.
Grab some books.
Grab some subscribe to, some magazines, Food and Wine or Garden and Gun or
Food
anything.
and Wine kind of stuff. We subscribed to that this year.
Yeah.
What do you think about Food and Wine?
Every once in a while, there's some decent stuff, but a lot of it's real chefy.
Yeah,
it's
a little too.
And that's another thing. You got to find your style. If you're wanting to get into videos, that's really important. I think I have something on that down the line, but, it's to me, I try in my videos, my style to be like I am right now. Mm-hmm. Like this is how I want to come, it's the only way I know.
Cooking the food you want to eat.
Yeah. And people ask me why I do that. It's like, well, man, it's the only way I know how to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you watch some people and they seem fake or uptight or anything. And, I think being yourself goes a lot further. People watch it because, when we're talking about making videos, this is mainly for YouTube. you could do them on other social media platforms, but mainly YouTube's the big video platform right now. Yeah. And people are interested in it because I think it's not like TV. You have a connection with whoever you're watching. You feel like you're there with them or
it's super niche.
I
can go and find one all about
10-point needles or whatever.
Decorating an office, on demand right there. Somebody that's pretty knowledgeable explaining stuff to me.
And I think that's why it's so popular.
Yes.
And people are watching it so much.
My kid doesn't want, I don't think anybody's kid,
is watching TV anymore. Watching TV.
Yeah. Michael had a little friend over this summer and, he's like, let's just go watch YouTube videos. It wasn't like, let's just go watch TV.
Yeah. So let's go watch YouTube. That
yeah.
is their TV.
That's the default.
They don't even know TV.
Yeah.
It's like, kids these days don't even know how to work the remote.
Yeah.
For real. For real. That's like, they're so used to everything being, right there at the fingertip and touching stuff. If it was touchscreen and all that,
I completely understand,
Yeah. You get them to open a laptop and they're up there trying to, do it like that. That's just how they grew up. It's different, but
so it's definitely headed in that way.
Yeah. So let's talk about our method for creating a video because this is kind of your thing. What is your timeline like? What is your week like? And so I've got an idea.
Change it right
so
now.
I've got an idea.
Yes.
On my video, I've got we have a little schedule book. We try to plan our weeks out. Let's talk about how we plan that. So when you're looking at the schedule. That you want to release a video, say next week.
Yes.
How are you going to lay that out? What's your week going to be like?
Well, what we've done in the past is every Tuesday we film.
We try to. Yeah.
We try to film every Tuesday, and there's some days when we just can't do it. Memphis in May week, we take a few weeks off in July.
Weather.
A few weeks, yeah.
Holidays.
Yeah. Usually weather doesn't stop us. If it's too bad on Tuesday, we'll move it to a Wednesday or something like that, and.
Our goal is every week to shoot a video every week.
We're trying to move it to Mondays now just to make everything run smoother. But we have one day where we dedicate to filming.
And it takes a whole day most of the time, depending on what it is. Like this past week, I say it's a quick cook. I bet it took 2.5 hours.
Oh, I'd say more than that.
Yeah. Because we get up, get our son off to school. Usually try to answer emails.
Yeah, we still have to answer emails.
So what's that day like?
Problems and Monday or?
The film day. What's it like? Yeah. You lay it out. You're kind of the
get up, get Michael off to school. We try to have all the groceries bought the day before, but if not, we got to go to the grocery store, buy ingredients. We still have to do our typical check emails. Handle any problems, handle any issues, inventory, all the basics. But then we try to get filming as soon as possible.
By 9:30, I want to be lighting up. So that usually means I've got to go outside. Get the grill area clean. Try to stage stuff up to where it looks right back there because undoubtedly it's always a mess.
It's always a mess.
And then get our cutting boards out there and knives out, whatever we're using, getting it all together. And by that time, then you got to go.
Try to set our plan.
Clean myself up. You can't just look. I know I look crazy anyway, but got to be presentable for camera. Run through makeup and all that. Get the powder girl out.
Yeah,
And then
that's another thing. It's just me and you.
yeah, it's just us two. That's
Yeah.
right. So then you get the sound ready.
But we do, before we start that, we do kind of try to get on the same page and say, okay, how are we going to lay this out? What are the steps involved? Because he knows how the steps involved are to cook it, and I know how I'm going to have to put it together because I'm editing it. So we kind of have to get on the same page on that.
That's right. Usually we try to jot that down.
Yeah, we try
and
to
make a
jot
list
down,
of what we're going to do.
almost like an outline.
Just steps.
Yeah.
Okay, step one, I'm fixing to fire the grill. You're going to, whatever. We do all that, and then we get the food out.
Yes.
And then we go, we go to it.
Yeah.
And so by the time it gets cooking and we do stopping for camera shots, because that's a big part of it. That's what makes it hard to me. When I'm cooking, a lot of times I'm not thinking about
He's not.
what's going on with the right angle or stopping and opening up the lid and letting her take pictures of the food. That completely throws my cooks off a lot of times.
Yes.
And so that's just something that we have to fight through. And sometimes it adjusts the time a little bit because I have a little bit longer recovery time. But we try to, we don't fake it. It's all like, what it is. It
is all what it is.
I just try to, make up for the time. Sometimes, like if something really takes me 40 minutes, it may only be really 30-minute cook time because there's been, 10 minutes of my grill recovering because you had to take 1,000 pictures to get that one right one. But that's just part of it. And so, it's really hard. Can you imagine what it's like if you're just one person doing it?
I could.
We need more help.
Yeah.
I can see where, you need other people to help you. But that's
we do it all outside, so we don't have any lighting typically.
And we try to incorporate some social media into that too. We've been trying to do Instagram stories with it, or at least get some stuff that we can promo that day. Yeah. All that's part of the shoot day. Now the next day, at that point, I'm pretty much done with it. No, really, I'm not, because I spend another day writing
the description
and the recipe,
and putting the recipe on paper
and getting you so the next day editing starts. I guess you don't edit that same day. You're spent by the end of it. We've got so much other stuff that we need to do, go to the office or whatever, that we're through with the video part on that day. Then the next day, Wednesday,
editing pictures for social media that afternoon, usually. Yeah,
because you're putting clips up and stuff. So you kind of do start some of it. But the next day is the main edit day.
Yeah.
And then so that day is how many hours, how long does it take you typically?
It depends. This particular video, it was quick. We had everything lined out. We didn't have any issues or problems or whatever. It was 4 to 5 hours editing.
Yeah. So your process is
there's been
compile all the video clips, get them. Well, first off,
I have an audio. You have a separate audio file. You have a what do you call it? What do you call that? A lane? I don't know.
Yeah,
you have a mic.
Yeah.
You have
a lapel mic.
A lapel mic. Yes.
Yeah. On a Zoom, it's a lapel mic hooked to a Zoom microphone, like a little desktop recorder that you take to school or to a lecture or whatever.
So that records your audio.
Yeah, and it's a separate file.
Yeah,
it
and it's
records it to
file.
an SD card.
So I have to take all the video footage and mix it with the audio footage. If you have a guest on or we have multiple files, it makes it complicated.
So let's talk about what you use.
Remember when we did the barbecue chicken video and you didn't record some audio? You had thought you pushed the button, or maybe I thought we thought we were recording audio. We weren't. So we had to we already had the footage.
And didn't want to scrap it because it was good.
Yeah. So we had to do some magic.
There's been times we've had to totally scrap it. I messed up. The audio was so jacked up that we couldn't even salvage it and talking over it with the point.
Yeah.
That happened not too long ago.
Meat church, we couldn't scrap it. I just took his audio and used both and kind of lowered his a little bit and raised your sections a little bit. It was a little difficult, but I wasn't happy with it, but
it happens.
It happens.
And that's a great thing about us doing it on our scale is if we don't do one, oh well. It ain't the end of the world. But it happens.
Is to me.
So,
I beat myself up about it.
How did you learn how to edit? When you first started, if you first watch our videos, we didn't edit anything. And that's what she was talking about, real-time videos. It's just punch record. And let's get as much footage as you can. And if it takes 2 hours, we're going to break it up into 1 through 8 episodes. Because
YouTube used to have a limit. You couldn't upload a certain. It was 6 minutes or something.
Do you know who first told me about?
I forgot.
When we were first started doing videos, we met Give It to God, Jeff.
Yeah.
Picavicious, I think is how he says last night, down in Jackson at the contest, KCBS contest.
Yeah.
And he was doing recording and all that. And he's like, he asked us what editing software we were using. And I'm like, what's editing software? I said, I don't know. Which one are you using? He's like, well, it was like Sony Vegas Studios. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, I'm going
we went and bought it that next week.
And that I also had to give him credit because he's the one who told me about the Zoom mic, the separate mic for the audio source. And you remember who used to have to go click and line them up? I said, because we didn't know how to line videos up. And he said, well, man, I just give it a snap or a little whistle, something. Yeah. Something you could match up with the video. And so that was what we started doing. We would record before then we didn't have a separate audio. It was horrendous. It was just whatever the camera.
At that point, we'd moved to like a handy cam.
Sony handy cam. Yeah, it was just a regular little, that worked off a SD card too, didn't it? Yeah, but we didn't have any good.
No, it actually was USB straight.
Oh, you had to pull it off the camera. Yeah, that's right.
I guess it had an internal storage.
And those were terrible.
Another thing is we had absolutely no money.
Yeah, zero budget. So it was, I remember when buying that Sony camera was a big deal. I went to Best Buy and it was like $140. I'm like, man, this is a lot of money for a camera. Is it even going to be worth it? Why would you do that? I was like, can't we and phones did they even have video on them then? I guess they did. We just didn't.
I remember one time you
couldn't get it to a program. We didn't have a MacBook or, it was just, I did buy an iPad. We tried using that for a while.
Yeah.
But back to the editing. So we bought that Sony Vegas and
I started editing, actually editing.
And you didn't know anything about it. There was like a book that come with it and I don't think it helped. And there was like, it's not user friendly at all. No. I remember it'd take 2 days to edit something back then and the editing wasn't that good.
And we weren't on a good schedule either.
Yeah. It was painful.
Yeah.
The editing back then. And we did the best we could, but you learned. I was
using something you could have used a movie for, and I'm just trying to do a little YouTube video.
Right. And so it wasn't until I started recording Michael's.
You bought me a MacBook for Christmas one year.
Yeah, but we didn't start using editing on it.
Almost.
I didn't start using editing on the Mac until I started recording Michael's Little League flag football games on my phone, and I needed to figure out a way to edit them. So I looked up, and iMovie was on there. And that's when
your iPad.
I put those in there, and I started playing with it on my iPad. I was like, this is easy.
Yeah.
And I said, Sheila, you got to see this. You're going to, you got to try to do our videos on it. And so that's when we got you a MacBook.
No, it's not.
And then you said, man, this is a game changer, right? It did.
Heck
it sped your productivity up. Heck, probably more than double.
Yeah.
I mean, really, for real.
It's just intuitive. I would recommend to anybody. Even Mark Williams, he's not very familiar with, editing or, computers that much, but he can edit videos really well on iMovie.
And he's just started out on an older Mac.
Yeah.
And so now
I'd recommend that to anybody.
We started out, you know how I got that first Mac too? It was off of UPS rewards.
Yeah, that's right.
I got it from UPS.
Because we were shipping.
Yeah, we were shipping out UPS and they gave you rewards back then.
So when we used to ship our rub, it was in our garage.
Yeah.
And we had converted our garage, which, was it a single car garage or was it a two-car garage? Yeah. And we had bought shelving units, like metal shelving units, and it was, our whole garage was like our own pick, pack, and ship facility.
And we'd shoot videos in there. I'd push the smoker right out to the edge of it. And there's some of those out there, those early Yoder videos and early CTO videos. Yeah. They're right there in the garage.
In our shipping facility. And we would go out there every morning, run our orders, go out there, pick, pack, and ship them. And it didn't matter if it was 20 degrees outside or 120 degrees outside. We were in that garage.
We were in it. Our neighbors thought we were crazy.
And so we got UPS
home-based
rewards.
business.
Yeah.
Let's start a home-based business. So
we were just stupid enough to think we could make it work. That's the beauty of it.
So back to the week schedule. After you, somebody in Tennessee, probably. But after you spend a day editing, what's the rest of your week like? So Wednesdays you're editing. We like to release on Thursdays because, people ask us why you put videos on Thursday. We found that that's just when people watch our videos the most, or it works for us. I'm not saying that's where everybody's got to release them.
My theory was that by the time Thursday comes around, you're thinking about what you're going to cook this weekend.
Exactly right. I mean, I'm sitting there at lunch on Thursdays. We notice we get an uptick. If we can get our videos live by lunch, we get, more initial views.
Yeah.
Or we used to.
Yeah.
Now it pretty much happens as fast as you put them out. But back then, Thursdays was the day. So we got in that routine. So by Wednesday night, you were trying to upload. Now, uploading it depends on your internet speed. Like where we live now, the internet's horrible. So that's one of the reasons why we have this office, because we could get business internet here.
Yeah.
But we used to have to go to the library.
I used to spend my either Wednesday afternoons was what I shot for. Get Michael, he'd get off the school bus. Me and him would go to the library.
Yeah.
And upload. And he'd check out a book or do whatever.
Or we'd go Thursday morning. And
but the library doesn't open till 10 o'clock. So there's been several times that I'd have to sit outside the library, like
on a bench,
right outside the door on a bench, and upload my video.
Picking up Wi-Fi. But that was a good place to upload because they had fiber connections.
Yeah.
And you can upload a video in 5 minutes there, where it'd take 2 days at our house sometimes.
Well, when you're sitting outside on the bench, it takes like 10 to 15.
Yeah, it's a little bit slower. But after you get the video, and so that's your day. I mean, once the video's live,
then there's a lot of code. You got to label it, and
that's another step, right?
Yeah.
How you tag it and all that
keywords.
Stuff. Well, my day, usually that evening before we were going to release
all the social media stuff.
The first thing that morning is when I take my time, I write the recipes out. I do all the description. Usually it's like a blog post. We translate that into our blog.
It used to be a newsletter. And the reason we don't send out the newsletter anymore is because nobody opens newsletters anymore. Everybody uses social media, and the cost of sending those newsletters out got to be very expensive. It was several $100s a month.
Yeah. Just to send out a newsletter.
Yeah, to send out the newsletter when nobody was really opening it.
But what we did, we started putting in the YouTube video, that's when we started adding the recipes.
Yes.
And making it to where you had the full-blown thing. If you wanted to copy it, print it off or whatever, and you could do it and file it however you wanted to.
Yeah.
Made it easier. And also on the blog, didn't it have a printable version?
Yes.
To where used to, we did blogs separate. We would just try to do another blog post. It might be something random. But now we try to stick to whatever we're releasing. We'll take that, translate it into a blog post for the website, and it's got a printable feature on it to where you can click that and it prints out in recipe format.
Yeah.
So if anybody's compiling them that way or saving them as a PDF to your computer, it works out.
Yeah. So let's talk about some disasters.
Disasters? Like filming disasters?
Yes.
They happen. I almost had one with this video.
Why?
I put that little skillet on that pellet grill and didn't think about it when I was just warming up the crab meat, right at the end. I'm trying to get everything off. I know the fish is coming off. And I had the lid closed on that Memphis grill, had the butter in there and the butter. And I went to pick it up, put the crab in. And that handle, man, I was surprised I didn't just have it imprinted in my hand.
You let go of it
so
pretty
daggum hot. Yeah. And I said, whoa. And if you notice, in one shot, I go back, there's a rag on it.
Yeah.
I had to do something. Should have had one of them HowToBBQRight gloves on. I didn't even think about it. I was, asparagus is off, crab's on.
Yeah,
fish
you were
is
just
coming
focused
off.
on everything.
We gotta go, and
it was only on there for a second.
A minute, 2 minutes tops. Yeah, it was on there hot. It didn't take it long to get hot. I promise you, that was one.
There was one that I remember very specifically. You tried to do a beer can turkey.
That was one we had to scrap.
Yeah.
That was. Did I ever do the beer can turkey? I don't think so.
Like release it? No.
Yeah, we never did. We ate it. It was good.
It was delicious. We went to cook it. So you used a
Foster's big oil can on a turkey sitting up on the old hickory.
And it was looking good and everything was great. Everything was just chugging right along as normal, and you shut the old hickory up. We came back, an hour later, and it was
jet black. Black as his microphone. I was like, what the heck happened to my turkey?
What happened? Do you know?
I still don't know. No, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I guess it got too hot.
Maybe some bad wood.
I got to revisit that one. I need to do beer can turkey again.
That's not a bad idea because it was delicious.
I'm trying to think of another one.
We pulled the skin off and it's great, but we had to throw the video away.
Yeah, it scrapped it because it just looked terrible.
That's been about 3 years
What was another one we scrapped? Probably should have.
You did some fish one time. And you were
it was tuna. Tuna
Yeah.
on the big green egg. And man, it just looked, I was trying to do like peppercorn seared tuna and have it perfect.
That was when you didn't try beforehand. You just tried to roll with it.
Yeah, I was going to get some tuna. I'm filming it right now. It was dark outside, I think, like the evening.
It was the old house.
Yeah, that was a bad video. We scrapped that one too. And you couldn't even eat that tuna. It was nasty. That's what, man, I'm telling you, that kind of fish is, I'm not a fan.
Is there any other disasters that you think of?
The Philly cheesesteak one was
difficult.
Did we get it in one take, or did I have to redo it? I can't remember.
I don't remember because
I had Jamie there helping. Yes. I don't even know if people realize that.
There was like 3 of us there that day
trying to run it. Yeah,
because it got cooked so quickly.
It didn't take it. Yeah, it didn't take it long.
And we were scrambling. I remember I was trying to hold the lid and take pictures, and it was so hot it was burning my hand. But I had to get the pictures, and my hand was just my arm right here was just red. Go back and watch that one. It's been a while since I've seen it. Don't. You'll probably cringe. You'll want to redo it.
I want to redo it. You know what I do want? I saw, I think it's Barbecue Hack or something like that. They have, it's kind of like a Blackstone top that they've made to go in pellet grills. And you just run it with the lid open, and you can do all your flat top cooking right there. It just fits right in. And they've got different sizes ones. I was looking at them. So you
do like your eggs?
Whatever. Philly cheesesteak. Pancakes, whatever you want to do. It turns a pellet grill into a flat top cooker.
I like that. Instead of having to have a whole
and it's accessory.
Separate grill. Yeah.
I didn't look at the cost. I need to look it up and see what the cost of it is.
That's cool.
They said they fit all different kinds of
you think you can put it with that one thing that throws the heat to the grate?
Oh yeah, with the sear deal. What's that called? The heat wave?
Yeah.
I see it sitting over there. I hadn't used it yet. Oh, this is cooler weather stuff. I've got some experiments I need to do now. So let's talk about, we talked about our timeline, what our week's like. What's the equipment like that you use?
Pretty simple.
We started
have the Zoom handy.
We got the Zoom mic with the Zoom recorder with the lapel mic for our audio. You want to just, takes AA batteries and a micro SD card. Mm-hmm. That's your audio source.
That's ours.
For cameras,
we're using a Canon 80D.
That's what you use?
For video and
I also have a GoPro sometimes. Hadn't really mastered the art of using.
I haven't. I can't.
We have a 70D too that you use for like another angle sometimes.
Yeah.
Something goes wrong. That's what we started with.
And I got my eye on another one.
Do you?
But it's just video. I'm wondering how that'll work because, we were in Collinsville, a couple weeks ago, mm-hmm. and the Red Meat Lover YouTube channel came up and we were talking to you, and it was a guy, but then he had 2 other guys with him. One was doing audio and one was doing video, and then somebody was doing photography. So, he had a crew with him, mm-hmm. I wonder how it would work if I did just a video camera.
How am I going
to take the pictures?
You'd have to have your other one you flip back and forth for stills, but that wouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
But, you just pick up another. You ever seen them photographers? They'll have 3 hanging on them.
Yeah.
They just grab the still, or it's got a different lens or something on it. That's what it's for. So that's the video setup. Now
it's pretty simple.
That's all it is we use a DSLR. Is that what it is? DSLR camera, Canon, Nikon. There's a bunch of different ones out there. What kind of lens is it? Just a
standard 55-18 or something like that. 18-55 is what I'm using.
Yeah.
And I'm not a camera
auto settings. And then
Jay Durbin from Tennessee Mojo
hates it. And that's how we run it. So it's very basic.
Anybody could do
camera and audio.
People are pretty this is y'all setup when they come to film with us. They're very surprised that it's just me.
So simple it is. And then you use a MacBook. It's not a Pro, is it? That's a Airbook. Yeah, it's an Airbook. Solid state drive. And it's processed. Everything's brought into iMovie because there's another one now that everybody's using, the Final Cut, but we hadn't advanced to that yet. Because you got to understand, we're not trying to be professional videos. These are YouTube videos. This is us at our home.
This is literally Malcolm going out back cooking
in the backyard. Yeah. And so the whole reason saying that is because anybody could do that. What we're doing. It's not like we're highly trained at what we do. You stick to it.
Yeah.
I think if anybody's getting into that, they're wanting to do videos, they're wanting to learn how to do this stuff, jump in and do it.
Yeah.
That's the one thing holding you back is doing it. And you got to do it, and you got to keep doing it. And you got to keep doing it. It's repetitive. And by the time you know it, you've built this library of videos. You've learned along the way. You've seen how you've
got a system in place,
changed and gotten better. Or hopefully you haven't gotten worse. But it is. You develop your style. You lay your schedule out. You see what it takes. And and it's something that you created. It's not like I took this class and somebody told me this is how to do it. And I'm just trying to plug the mold. It don't work like that. That didn't come off as genuine to me.
Well, I will say when you're first getting started, when I was first getting started doing the videos, I'd find stuff that I liked and kind of emulate it.
Yeah.
And you can even find people you like and kind of emulate how they,
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, yeah.
Because in the process of doing it, the more you do it, you're going to come up with your own style.
That's
you're
right.
going to figure it out your own way.
And I've had people tell me, "Oh, I didn't want to do that because you already did it." Well, just because I did it don't mean that you can't do it.
Do
or
it
the
your
same
version.
thing. Yeah, do your version. Do the same version. Tell everybody, hey, tell them it's my version. You're just recreating it.
Yeah, you think you can do it better.
Yeah. Or worse, test it out. That's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother channel, testing Malcolm's recipes. Just do everyone I did. This is testing Malcolm's recipe.
This one sucked, Malcolm.
Yeah. Don't do that. That's a bad idea. Don't put that out there.
Whatever, your recipes are good.
So what's the hardest part of editing? That's what I wanted to ask you. What's the hardest part?
Getting started.
Just finding the time to sit down and making yourself sit down and do it?
Yeah. What I do is, because it can be very daunting, especially when you have 45 minutes worth of footage and 3 audio tracks and, stuff like that. It can be like, oh God.
Never gonna get this stuff.
Yeah. So what I do is I sit down and say, okay, I'm going to work on this for 30 minutes, and I don't do anything else but work on that for 30 minutes. And then I'll get up and go do something else for a few minutes. And then I'll come back and give myself another 30 minutes. By that time, I've got it laid out. I'm in the flow of it. And I just, I get it done then, But the hardest part is making myself start doing it.
So once you get it all done, you get it all tagged, you got your description loaded, all that. What's kind of our thing for how to get people to watch it? I mean, what's been the secret? Has it been a secret to it, or is it?
We don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, we kind of do now. We didn't. Let's rephrase that, Shell. We didn't know what we were doing.
I feel like
we were learning as we go. You still feel like? Well, that's a good thing. I think it's good to feel like that. If you feel like you know it all, you're not going to,
I know.
all of a sudden you box yourself in. I think we can learn something every day, every video. And so I think that's what helps. But I think, when I wrote this down, what strategy you have
that we've built.
You've kind of,
we have followers.
You kind of had ideas that it's like, well, if we stay on schedule, if we release, first off, we don't make a bunch of videos and then try to not make some for a while. You try to always keep coming out with new content. And that's probably the best thing I can tell you is do it and keep doing it. Don't stop. Don't make 10 videos and then don't release it, release them and then do nothing for 9 months. It doesn't work like that. To build a subscriber base and to get people to follow you, you just have to do it constantly.
Yeah.
You have to be, I don't care if it's every, once a week, twice, once every 2 weeks or whatever. You got to get on a routine doing it however long it takes you. And the challenge in that is working it into your everyday life. We were trying to, scrap by, start a business, all this other stuff, raise a family, work. And most people out there are like that. I don't know very many people that can just hang up what they're doing and say, oh, I'm going to just start making YouTube videos. Well, good luck. But you can't survive doing that. But if you take whatever spare time, you got to think, you got to go to work, but then you got to come home. You're going to do videos. And Mark would be a great person to bring on and ask about this, or shoot him a message on Instagram or Facebook. Mark Williams at Swine Life.
Yeah, he's doing them on Saturdays and Sundays.
He works a full-time job, and him and Emily both do. And they've found time in their schedule to make it work for them. His release is different. He started filming on Sundays, editing every night when he comes home, and trying to get it out there on Wednesday or as fast as he can.
And there's nothing wrong with if you are working a full-time job, if you do one every other week. Nobody says you got to do it every week. That's just what we've gotten to. Nobody says you got to do recipe videos either. You could do.
Heck no, there's a guy out there with millions of people just blowing up stuff. That's got me wanting to blow up stuff. I watch them. It's like, man, I can probably blow something up now.
Yeah.
Maybe that's our new thing. We'll just start getting people to send us grills. We're going to blow them up.
Let's see what it
Let's
takes
see what it takes
to
to blow it up. Let's blow up one of them camp shells or Rectex or something.
I kind of like that idea.
I do too. I want to blow something up. I got some land to blow it up on.
What do you do? Do you need like a pad to blow it up on?
Well, what I need a Tannerite sponsor.
What's a Tannerite?
It's what I want to use to blow it up.
What is it, like dynamite?
No, it's just like, it's complicated. It's just it's like dynamite. It's like dynamite, except I need a gun sponsor because you got to shoot it with a subsonic round. So if I can get a gun sponsor, a Tannerite sponsor, I'll buy the Tannerite. I mean, I do need a gun sponsor.
And a grill
sponsor. Now you're on board. A beer sponsor. And then we'll just be blowing up barbecue.
Yeah. So you'll cook a recipe on it.
And then blow it up. Either it turns out good, like we'll break some judges in. Turns out if it passes or if it fails, we'll blow it up.
Yeah.
You never know.
So you're saying the grill could survive another week?
It could make it to it could go into the Blow It Up Barbecue Hall of Fame, I guess.
This is not a bad idea.
No, it's not. I like it. See, we work through stuff on this podcast. It's kind of a therapy session, business planning.
I will
strategy.
say this. We fight. We'll argue.
That's the only time we argue.
We argue over two things. It's usually on film days and on the volume of music.
Oh, yeah. I'm an 11 guy. Shell's not. I guess I've lost my hearing's gotten so bad over the years.
That's what it is. And after he's been drinking, and I try to turn down his music.
Then it goes to 15.
That's when things happen. But he'll say, just film it. And I'm like, yeah, but I got to get this. No, just do it. And
yeah.
Good luck if you're filming with your spouse.
Yeah, that is a challenge, I mean, that's a part of it too. But
you get, okay.
We still love each other.
Yeah. You do have somebody that cares about what's, being filmed and how it's being edited and things like that on the other side. A lot of people have to hire somebody.
Yeah.
And you're not going to find somebody that cares about it as much as
I do.
That
was, I wrote this down. What are some of the troubles that we have creating videos? And that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Sometimes the differences, that's where arguments come up. And
I think we've learned to trust each other a lot.
Yeah.
I know to trust you on the food stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, I think you build a rapport over the years, seeing how I cook, and you've learned that. You've learned. So now automatically when we lay out videos, you're thinking, what shots do I need to get? Where do I need to get around him to get these shots? Or how do I need to direct? How do I need to work with his touchy feelings to put him in the place to do what you want me to do?
I'll say I didn't get that
So
shot.
you've got a producer. I'm not a producer at all.
Yeah, exactly.
All I know is how to cook.
And you've learned how to trust me when I say we need to do this again, or we need to get this shot.
Right, yeah. And it's
instead of getting
and I don't know
frustrated.
Maybe you just got natural talent.
I know.
You like that? That's called juicing somebody up. But that's kind of that's our thing on video. I did write down a couple more things about why do you include the descriptions and recipes and tags? How do you treat the ads?
That can be
does YouTube,
there's a whole methodology and a whole process on how to use your keywords right, how to describe right, in your description of your YouTube videos, how to name the video right. There's a whole method behind it and thought process behind it. That's a whole nother
podcast. A lot of this, and there's was stuff. I guess
you're not going to do
one last
wrong.
thing. Why do you think YouTube works for us?
You know why? Because we kind of like to do things our own way.
I like that answer because it's true. We don't have somebody from a bigger network company or something telling us what to do.
Demographics say that you really need to cook more fish.
Yeah, we can't put you on camera.
The pellet grill really seems to be working out. Yeah.
Your image doesn't look right for what we're trying to do. No,
I don't think we'd ever made it on camera.
Yeah, we got a whole different base. Whole different base.
So I think YouTube works for us because
it lets you be you.
Yes.
And it puts people out there in touch. They feel like they have a connection with you.
Yeah, and you're captain of your own ship.
That's
in
right.
a way,
you make your own rules and play, It's not. It's just
you don't like it, don't watch my video.
Don't do it. That's right. And you do have to play by their game somewhat. They've got stuff, that YouTube has rules, but I mean, I've
never thought that we even got close to violating any YouTube rules.
No,
because we keep it clean.
We try to keep it.
Well, you have
very
a lot of kids.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, and I've been told by a lot of people, man. We watch your stuff before we go to bed at night. And kids watch it. We got it on TV in the living room or whatever.
Yeah. So we don't want to.
I think it's very general audience when you say.
There's no point.
I try to cook the alcohol out of stuff. Not. I'm a grown man. I want to take me a drink. I'm going to have me a drink.
It's just usually off camera.
Oh, that's right. But so, that's why it works for us. It could work for you, I guess.
The only way to do it wrong is to not do it at all.
That's what we've always said. From the times we've taught, seminars and spoke at them on social media or on YouTube in particular, that's the main point to get across to. Because the only way to do it wrong is to not do it at all. Because
if you're interested.
And it's hard.
Because you're going to learn.
YouTube's not probably going to be around forever. But until something comes up that people can share videos with, that kind of style, it's going to be here. And I don't see anything taking its place anytime soon.
So I guess a question that a lot of people want to know is YouTube lucrative? Can you make money on YouTube? And I have to say, if you're starting a YouTube channel from fresh.
To make money,
you're going to be waiting a very long time.
Before it might,
Our strategy, we didn't realize it was a strategy at the time, but if you use your YouTube videos to help, have a different revenue stream.
It's kind of part of the funnel when you talk about.
We have a shop where we sell, an online store where we sell our rubs and stuff, other people's rubs and stuff, other equipment, and
merchandise, T-shirts,
and that pays
apparel.
our bills. Really,
and that's probably where a lot of people. YouTube, a lot of those YouTube people are making more money probably off merch sales than they are what YouTube's actually paying. Now there is ad revenue to make. That's a whole nother podcast too.
So we do get a check from YouTube, but if you expect to live off that check.
At first, it's going to be.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult.
It gets better as you go. We
have almost 700,000 subscribers, and
so it's going to be money. There's more ads being watched. It's all on that clicks. I don't. It's all on ad watches. I don't know how many people. Do you ever click on an ad on a YouTube video and I'm going to go buy that Buick car or whatever? Really? I most of the time click off, and I think most people do. But they're banking on. It don't take very long to make an impression on a commercial. These advertising guys are super smart. They know what they're doing. Yeah. You can see that Kraft or Blue Plate mayo pop up, and it's like, man, I'm going to get me some Blue Plate when I go, right?
Are you picking on me?
No.
Did you see that one Instagram post somebody did?
I did. It was hilarious.
I'm becoming known as the
mayo girl. Mayo girl.
If I could only. So I reposted it on my Instagram story, And I said, if I could be a Blue Plate Mayo sponsor or something. And so I did hashtag free mayo for life. Nobody's ever used that hashtag before.
Oh, really? Mayo for life.
Free mayo for life.
That's killing me there.
But I was
you need a.
I'm the only one that's thought of
I tried to. I ran out of time at Christmas, but I was going to get you one last year. It was a Blue Plate mayonnaise T-shirt, just the label on it. I was going to get somebody creative for me because I couldn't find one. They're missing a market.
You're telling me Blue Plate doesn't have merch?
I couldn't find any. That's an untapped market there. People like it. The mayo shirts. Team Blue Plate.
I don't know if I could wear that out in public. I could wear it. When we're at home for film day.
Yeah, there you go. That'd be your favorite shirt, I bet. Get my mayo shirt on. I know what I'm about. From
Eating mayo while wearing my mayo shirt.
But so that's pretty much our, what we want to talk about today.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, and we'll touch more on this down the road, I'm sure, and I'm hoping it sparks some questions or comments. Man, y'all hit us up, send them to us.
I've always wanted to do a little conference, or
just a seminar, a couple hour seminar,
invite people I want to learn from,
do something like that. But you never know, it might happen. But anything else? We're
this
going
weekend
to Arkansas.
We're heading to Arkansas. We're going to pick Michael up from school, head on to Melbourne.
Melbourne, Arkansas at
Townsend Spices.
Yeah, but it's at the golf course there. I don't know what it's called.
But it's the Townsend Spice event.
Yeah. They're kind of promoting it, sponsoring it.
Who's the rep? Do you know?
Danny Kennedy. He'll be there.
Yeah.
And I think, last I looked, they probably had 40 teams already. That was like earlier in the week. They might have 50 or 60 teams at this one.
It's going to be a good
contest.
Yeah.
They're going to have, if you hang out after Saturday night at the golf course, they're going to have a little band play. Bar will be open. The restaurant will be open. They're shutting it down. Golfers have to be out there at a certain time. So it's going to be SCA.
I think it'll be a fun event.
It's going to be fun, man. Heck yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Jay and Jamie Durbin of Tennessee Mojo fame
are coming.
The world champ rib cooks.
He's going to be there.
He's going to be there trying to become a world champ steak cook, I guess. Yep. Add to his feathers.
Kendall and Sarah's coming.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time. If y'all are in the area, come out and see us.
What's your recipe next week?
I'm gonna do grilled chicken pitas.
Yeah,
like great because I did those. We didn't talk about that. I'll give you something to talk about next week. But I did some last weekend. Was that last Friday?
Yeah, we had some friends over and did a Mediterranean dinner, and it was awesome.
You was giving a little editing help, or no label. You were doing label design that night. You had that head on. So anyway, that's about all we got coming up. We'll
see if you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel. Marry a woman that you can get free labor out of.
That's right. Marry a woman that likes to work. Best advice I can give you. And has a great personality and is beautiful.
That was
and great with kids. And likes laying the law down on kids.
So somebody doesn't have to be the bad guy.
And can make biscuits.
And somebody has a birthday coming up.
That's right. Next week's. Are we doing a podcast next week's my birthday? Can we have a special birthday edition podcast?
Are we just going to get hammered?
That'd be so much fun. We may do that. Bring some guests on. Let people pop in.
Okay.
We'll see about that. That might be the new tradition.
Okay.
The August 15th podcast. It should be a national holiday as far as I'm concerned.
National?
Somewhat national. Maybe somewhat regional. Will you give me that? Will you give me a somewhat regional holiday?
Okay.
If they can give that gum CBD a day. Yesterday was like National CBD Day.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you do that? Is there like an organization?
I heard
file a petition for.
They talked about it on the radio. They were going through all the days. It's like there's National Walk Your Dog Day.
So why couldn't there be a National Malcom Reed?
That's right.
Day.
Somewhat regional.
Yeah.
Malcom Reed Day.
Hashtag or
here at 2311 in Hernando. It is.
Don't be giving out our address.
All right. Well, hey, is that everything? Is that all you want to talk about today?
That's all I want to talk about.
Well, thank y'all for checking us out. Miss Southern Shell, tell them where they can find us. Send us questions, comments, over that.
If you'd like to connect with Malcom, ask him questions, make some comments, you can contact him at HowToBBQRight, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. If you'd like to connect with me, it's Miss Southern Shell at Instagram and Twitter. Mostly Instagram.
Well, thank y'all for tuning in today, and we'll see y'all next week.